Although Al-Qaeda's ability to affect the outcome of a U.S. presidential election may have changed, Al-Qaeda's rationale on the kind of American president it wants has not. A bellicose American president, according to this rationale, would be better for the recruitment of jihadists and more likely to achieve Al-Qaeda's goal of draining American resources, economic and otherwise. In our third story in the countdown, an Al-Qaeda-connected website now showing support for a McCain presidency, according to the Washington Post, on the extremist website Al-Hezbollah. In a commentary posted on Monday, quoting, "This requires the presence of an impetuous American leader such as McCain, who pledged to continue the Iraq war till the last American soldier. Then Al-Qaeda will have to support McCain in the coming elections so that he continues the failing march of his predecessor, Bush." The posting further suggested that a terrorist strike would sway American voters toward McCain, and that a McCain presidency would ultimately achieve Al-Qaeda's goal of, quote, exhausting America. Indeed, among extremist Islamist web pages, a consensus of sorts has emerged, according to a senior analyst for the Site Intelligence Group, which monitors such sites, quoting, "The idea in the jihadist forums is that McCain would be a faithful son of Bush." That's Adam Raceman, someone they see as a jingoist and a war hawk. In a conference call today, the McCain campaign indicated that terrorists actually wanted Senator Obama to win, that Al-Qaeda supporters know that an endorsement of McCain is a kiss of death and would hurt his chances. But the campaign contradicted itself to some degree on that point by claiming that a Hamas advisor had recently praised Senator Obama. Let's turn now to the distinguished counterterrorism advisor to presidents of both parties, also the author, of course, of Your Government Failed You, Richard Clarke. Thank you for your time tonight, sir.
Always good to be with you, Keith.
Before we get to Al-Qaeda and the election and that relationship, any real doubt about the central premise here that the war in Iraq has been good for Al-Qaeda recruitment?
No, I think terrorism analysts outside of government, inside the CIA, terrorism analysts in European governments, there's a great consensus that the U.S. occupation of Iraq is the best thing that ever happened to Al-Qaeda in terms of recruitment and fundraising.
If this is, the goal here ultimately is to exhaust America, as has been phrased in many different ways, many different times, that suggests a war of attrition, and a war of attrition is served best how?
Well, from Al-Qaeda's perspective, It would be best if the United States stayed in Iraq for a long time, as well as in Afghanistan, with large numbers of troops and large bills to be paid by the American taxpayer.
The idea of influencing the election, the 2004 bin Laden videotape arrived 4 days before the vote. How much is the dynamic changed this time in terms of the impact of something like that in 2008?
Well, we don't know, obviously. There's been a study by the University of California suggesting, according to polling data, that it might backfire and help Obama. We do know that John Kerry really believes, and CIA analysts agree with him, that the purpose of the Al-Qaeda video, the bin Laden Halloween appearance, 2004, was to help President Bush by saying or implying that bin Laden actually liked Kerry. Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda are sophisticated people. They know what the effect in the U.S. populace would be. If they tilted toward Kerry, it would obviously help Bush. And I think that actually happened. Now, the extent to which it mattered, I don't know. Would it happen again this year? I doubt it. I think things have changed. I think the voters are more sophisticated than they were in 2004. You can't keep fooling them this way. But the bottom line is that the occupation of Iraq, which McCain seems to favor going on forever, helps Al-Qaeda.
Does Al-Qaeda know this changing paradigm in terms of our elections? I mean, we've spoken before about how sharp they are about analyzing political trends in this country. Is the awareness there that the country is focused on 10 issues ahead of international terrorism and specifically their brand of it?
Well, we know that bin Laden personally looks at opinion polls, Western opinion polls, and watches U.S. TV on satellite. So, yeah, he could be sophisticated enough to figure that out. But, of course, there's a difference between just releasing another videotape, as he did 4 years ago, and staging an attack. Staging an attack could vault terrorism up from issue 10 to issue number 1.
If that Al-Qaeda-linked website that was referenced in the Washington Post piece openly supported Senator Obama, we can easily imagine how the McCain camp would try to use it. Thus, this sort of flummoxed response from the McCain campaign was, do we suspect merging American politics and international terrorism, that this development was something of a surprise to the McCain campaign?
Well, I think it probably confused them. They've accused Senator Obama of being a terrorist 2 weeks ago, and then this week they're accusing him of being a socialist, and next week it'll be a space alien. I think it's a confused campaign at this point, I think, Keith.
And where is it? I mean, obviously, there are people who are working on this 24 hours a day, but we don't, in these times, don't tend to hear about it. Where are we in terms of Al-Qaeda and our relationship to it at this moment? Can you give us a minute summary of where we stand? Because it seems like the entire issue has been forced off every front page and every interior page.
Well, the last national intelligence estimate and the testimony before Congress and the press by the CIA director says that Al-Qaeda is stronger now than it has been since any time since perhaps 2002. That it's been able to reconstitute itself in Pakistan and is participating with the Taliban in killing American troops in Afghanistan, but is also training European-looking people to go perhaps to Europe or perhaps to the United States to conduct attacks. They don't look Arab. They may have European passports. That's a source of real concern among non-partisan analysts I know in CIA.
The author of Your Government Failed You, Richard Clarke. As I said, always a pleasure, sir. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you, Keith.